pretty rainbow flowers in edible cookie and cake flower pots.
Let's see what's cooking. Let's get the facts. Let's see what's cooking. It's time for yoyomax12.
Hello everyone, starting off with the cookie dough. That's a large mixing bowl and 1 cup of butter that's been softened, 1 cup of sugar, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 1 egg, and cream those things together until they're light and fluffy. Add to that 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and then gradually blend in 3 cups of all-purpose flour and blend until it's well combined and you get a nice smooth soft dough. Remove about 1/3 of that dough and set it aside. We're going to use that for the little flower pots themselves. And for the rest of the dough, divide it equally into 6 portions. Then you're going to tint each portion a different color of the rainbow. I'm using paste food color because you don't have to use very much and you get nice, bright, intense colors. Once you blend the color in, take that little colored dough ball, put it in a plastic bag or wrap it up in plastic wrap and put it in the refrigerator to chill. Now for the little flower pot portion, I use a little bit of brown and a little bit of orange to get that terracotta color, that's that orangey color that you find in flower pots. While your dough is chilling for about 1 hour in the refrigerator, you can tint your little sticks that you're going to use as flower stems. These are just plain old lollipop sticks, the paper ones, and I'm using a little bit of paste food color diluted with a bit of water and a pastry brush just to brush the color onto them. And then I just remove the excess color on some paper towels and then just let them dry. Now for the flower pots, take that dough, place it between 2 sheets of waxed paper or parchment paper and roll it out to about 1/8 of an inch thickness. Once it's rolled out, you can cut out some circles. Now the size of the circles will depend on how big you want your flower pots. That is a 3¼ inch cookie cutter I'm using there, and I made a bunch of circles. And then I needed to transfer them to put them into the muffin tins I was using. Now, if your dough isn't chilled enough, it'll start to rip on you. And I'm just going to show you here. This happened to me. When I tried to lift them, they just broke apart and I couldn't get them to lift off. So I put this back in the refrigerator and I allowed it to chill for about 15-20 minutes and it was a lot easier to work with. But these little flower pots are very forgiving. Put your cutouts into the bottom of your muffin tins. And if you get any places where it's too thin or it's ripped, just take a little piece of dough and just pat it into that location and it'll be fine. Keep in mind that these little flower pots do not go to the top of the muffin tins. They only go up about halfway with a 3¼ inch cookie cutter. And I also found, although the recipe suggested you roll these out to 1/8 of an inch thickness, if you roll them out a little bit thicker, they're a lot easier to handle. And once again, you can see here when I push this one into the bottom of the muffin tin, it rips a little bit. So I just took another little piece of cookie dough and just made a little repair, and it was fine. Now for the center of the little pots, you need 3/4 cup of chocolate cake mix, 1 egg, 4 tablespoons of water, 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. Then stir that around until it's nice and smooth. And then you're going to spoon in a little bit into each of your little flower pots. And these little flower pot cups haven't been baked yet. Fill them so that they're about halfway full. And then you're going to bake them at 350 degrees for 15-20 minutes until the cake is done. And when you stick a toothpick in it, it comes out clean. Let them cool completely and then frost them with a little bit of chocolate frosting. And I dip them into some Oreo cookie crumbs, just to make it look like it was dirt in a flower pot. Now for the actual little flowers themselves, these are those little portions of dough that were tinted. I removed it from the refrigerator and I rolled it out into a log shape, which is a bit too big, so I only worked with half portion at a time. Rolled them out till they were about 12 inches long, about 1 foot long, and I did 1 of each color. Now, if you find they're breaking a lot and they're stretching and breaking, what you can do is put them on a cookie sheet, put them in the refrigerator and allow them to chill a little bit. Maybe 15 minutes or so. It'll make them a little bit easier to work with. And that's what I had to do here. So now it's time to assemble the flowers. I started off with the yellow because the yellow is going to be the center. And then very gently, I took those little ropes and tried to put them around the yellow. Now this is a little bit fussy. You may get a little bit of breakage, but you'll just have to be patient and just gently press them together and then turn and then add your next color and then just give that a little turn. And eventually you'll have a yellow center with 5 colors, petals all the way around. Once you get that, then you need to chill this again. So wrap it up in some plastic wrap, or in this case I'm using a piece of parchment paper. Roll it up, and as you're rolling, you can press it together a little bit so that they stick nicely, and put them in the refrigerator and let them chill for at least a couple of hours. And once they're nicely chilled, they're very easy to cut. You can cut them into 1/4-inch slices with a sharp knife, and then take one of those lollipop sticks that you dyed or tinted green and just press them into the cookie about halfway in or so. And now's the time where you can press or rearrange the shape of the petals, because these don't spread very much, and pretty much the way it looks is the way it's going to end up once it's baked. Then you're going to put these in the oven at 350 degrees for about 12 minutes or so until they are set. And as you can see, they don't get really brown, a little bit brown on the bottom, and they don't change their shape very much. I stuck that one into that flower pot. I found the stem a bit too long, so I just trimmed the stem with a pair of scissors, but the length of the stem is up to you. And then I added a couple of pieces of gumdrop that I just snipped with a pair of scissors as leaves. And there they are. Now this makes a huge pile of flowers and flower pots, because I only did half the recipe. The rest of the dough went in the freezer, and I'll have to try to think of something else to do with it on some other time. The cookies are nice. It's a simple sugar cookie recipe. The little flower pots are fun to eat because you have cookie with cake in the center and some frosting. They look great, and they'd be great for maybe a spring party or a rainbow themed party that you might have. Hope you give them a try. Now, I have many rainbow themed foods on my channel, and you'll find them all on my rainbow playlist. So if you want to see it, go ahead and click right on your screen or see the link in the About section below. Thanks for watching.